Okay, YouTube, 2009 Lexus RX350. Noise when the steering wheel is turned. Admittedly, it's not much, but it's a start. And I know these cars have had problems in this area. So we're going to see what we can find out. And I jacked the car up and took off the front left wheel. And when you come in here, the noise is totally gone. So there's no pressure on it anymore, but the noise is totally gone. So that's a clue. Don't know what it means yet. Have to dig deeper. All right, I just lubricated where that shaft comes down to that knuckle. I lubricated that, and down the shaft you can see where I sprayed the silicone lubricant, and inside the car I sprayed right in there where the shaft goes down through the firewall. Put the wheel back on, put some load back on it, and see if that made any difference. All right, the wheel's back on. Still making the noise. All right, I might have to do a little research. There was nothing obvious. Okay, my research indicates that the struts need to be replaced, that they're causing the clunking noise when the steering wheel turns at low speeds or parked. So first thing I'm going to do is jack the car up, put it on jack stands, remove the wheels, and I'll pick up from there. All right, we got the wheel off. And there's the strut. So basically there's 2 bolts here and here that are holding it on the bottom. And we have to remove the wheel speed sensor off the strut. This linkage here has to come off. This nut has to come off, and I think you hold it with a 5mm hex. Remove the nut. I'll spray it with oil first. And this brake line is also bolted to the strut. This hydraulic brake line comes off. Then these 2 bolts. And at the top, behind this cover, there's 3 bolts. Nuts, I should say. 1, 2, 3. Not this one. That holds the spring on. You don't want to remove that. It's under high compression. But then these 3 nuts, and it should just drop out. So let me just break these loose. I won't remove them, but I'll break these loose. Then I'll remove this speed sensor, this brake line, this torsion bar, and break these 2 nuts and take them off. And what's this? Just trash. Okay, let me get to work. All right, let's see if I can do this one-handed. This wheel speed sensor just pops right off. Yeah, can you do it with one hand? My left hand of all things. It just snaps right in, so that's easy. This looks like, I don't know, 12mm, and there's no nut on it, I don't think. Yeah, there's a nut on it. So take this bolt out that holds the brake line on. This looks like 14 millimeter and 5 millimeter hex. Back this nut off. Then I'll back these two big guys off. And then I'll come back and report in. Okay, so this is 17. The Allen wrench is 5.5 millimeters. So I'll break this nut loose, take this nut off, this bar will come off. Torsion bar. All right, correction, this is 6 millimeter. Originally this didn't fit in, but it was because of the rust. You have to be careful. The 5.5 was a little too loose, and I was able to slightly tap that 6 millimeter in tightly, so it's actually 6 millimeter. All right, a couple of tidbits. This torsion strut bar, I had to drill this one out. So I'm gonna go to the parts store and pick up a new one of these. The bottom one came out okay. The top one was a little too rusted. I had to drill it out. And these big bolts on the top, I had to use a 18-inch, half-inch drive ratchet with a big extension on it to break that guy loose. Super tight. It was just a simple 12 millimeter bolt holding this brake line on, and the bracket was underneath the brake line that holds this wheel speed sensor line in place. Okay, for me, when I took these big nuts off, these bolts just slide right out. This one was sliding out. I'm sure it's not going to take much. I'll get a punch, tap that guy out, and then the 3 bolts at the top, and it's out. All right, it's the old one on the left, the new one on the right. I've got the entire assembly. One thing I can tell right away is the original one, the springs are thicker. So if I take a spring here and I go to the equivalent one here, you can see it's not quite as thick. I don't know if that means anything. I'm not a spring engineer. I don't know if the steel is the same. Close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. Let's put them on and find out. All right, I got the 3 top bolts tight. Put the cover back on here. Come down here. Tighten up these 2 big guys. We'll put the speedo sensor and brake line back on. Snap the speedo sensor itself back on. And got to go to the parts store and get a new link because I drilled the old one out. Put the wheel on, and that's it. Let me go to the parts store. All right, went to my friendly Napa store and picked up 2 sway bar links. Again, I had to cut this one off. I actually drilled it out because it was so rusted. It's the only way I could get it out. Whoa. Oh, these are different. They don't have the 6 millimeter here, but you can put a thin open-end wrench here. I like these better. Hope I have a thin open-end wrench that fits it. All right, I'm gonna go put these on. All right, we got the sway bar back on, no problem. The little trick I did was on the main sway bar, I just had to pry it down just a little, about a ½ inch to get the holes to line up. This is under spring pressure. And that's it. We got the speed sensor back, the brake line back, got the 2 big bolts. We got the 3 bolts up top tight. And put the wheel on, do the other side, and go for a test drive. All right, just test drove the RX350. The new struts, and it rides nice. Really, I could tell tell a big difference. The noise when you're turning the steering wheel is gone. So very happy. These were FCS struts made in China, but for 70 some bucks a piece, they're pretty good. We'll see how long they last, but so far so good. Thanks for watching.